So hello, this is Noah Clark with UrsaCam.com, and I'm speaking with Bob from Blackmagic today. Hi, Bob.
Hey, how are you?
So, Bob, let's talk Ursa. Let's talk Ursa Mini. Tell me about the new operating system.
So the Ursa Mini operating system, we're describing it as sort of the second half of the camera. So we announced the first half last year, and the operating system, which will come out later in July, is a total revamp to the operating system in terms of being able to get through menus. They're all right there, right on the screen. So if you want to adjust the, say I don't know, anything, the shutter angle, just hit shutter angle, boom, it brings up the menu for that. So it's a lot.
I think it's really smart the way you've laid it out. I can tell you I've been using the Ursa 4K and the 4.6K for a while now. And, you know, it was kind of frustrating before to not see the white balance happening, you know, to have a blacked out screen. So this makes much more sense. And I like that how you've laid out the camera's main functions on the main page. And this will basically allow you to add more and more stuff without allowing it to get too cluttered.
And that's what was happening. We were trying to add some of the features into the current operating system, and it just wasn't working for us because we were running out of room. And so it led to this whole redesign.
So what is the ETA? When can I get my Ursa Mini hands on it?
So July is what we're saying for shipping of 4.0.
Okay, great. So now some of us so I have my 4.6K EF, and by the way, I want to congratulate you guys on the redesign of the sensor. It's fantastic. I know it's not a low light camera, but the fact that it has a native ISO of 800 and 1600 is actually very clean in my tests. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it's not a low light camera, but you can use it functionally in low light now is much appreciated. Let's talk for a little bit about the announcement that Grant made a few months back about it going to rolling shutter instead of global shutter. Now in my testing, I'm not doing whip pans, I'm not filming NASCAR. It's totally usable, mm-hmm. And as far as I understand, this allows you to get more dynamic range.
Correct.
And better low light, I'm assuming.
Yeah, because your dynamic range is wider, so yeah.
So tell me about this.
Yeah, so, you know, we had trouble getting that put into the product, the global shutter, and decided that because the images were so stunning in rolling that, you know, we felt like it was time to release the camera and let the camera do the talking. And that's what's happened. The people that have been testing it, like yourself, have all come back saying, wow, this thing really is stunning. And so the reception has been tremendous, and so we're really happy with it.
No, I can attest to that fact. The pictures are great, the camera's great, I love it. Now for those who are filming NASCAR or with pans, you know, if that's their job, is there any future plans? Is the hardware still in there to go back to global? Is that something that you imagine doing, or are we going to stick where we are?
At this point, we're going to stick with where we are. You know, the original 4K sensor is a global shutter sensor. So for people that are looking to do that kind of work, you know, maybe they could use that camera instead.
And I own both, and I like both of them equally, but well, actually that's not true. I like the 4.6 a lot more, but they're both solid cameras. So now let's talk about being that I'm a big Ursa owner, the original one as well. What is the ETA on the turret upgrades, the sensor turret upgrades?
So we're working on that now. We hope to have that out shortly. We don't really have a defined ETA on it, but we are working on it now to get those upgrades going as soon as we can. Okay,
so, and will that, any word if that's going to be rolling or global?
It's the same sensor.
As the 4.6?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I look forward to that. Mm-hmm. Now, Grant said something that I didn't really understand about the new color science. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Regarding,
I think he said there was something in the, what is it, 3.7 we're at now? 3.2, what's?
3.2.
2.
So the 3.2 is actually about the ability to grade the Ursa Minis in a live environment with the ATM Studio software. So if you're running the cameras in a live environment, we can do the remote grading through the ATEM software with the DaVinci primaries. So that way it can be used in a live environment with tally and talkback and the rest of it. So we kind of upgraded it.
Okay, so that's mainly to do with the ATEM switcher, then that update. Although I did see there were some new things. Now you can output color bars. Is that true?
Yeah, color bars on the 3.2 was added as well, and but the bigger enhancements are coming down the road for 4.0.
4.0. I look forward to that. Now, one of the big things that I was always wanting is the ability to output a LUT, over the SDI, and you can now do that.
Yes, so we're going to be able to do the LUTs will be part of that upgrade, and you can either import them with the CFast card or export them via the CFast cards.
Okay, so in Resolve, I can create a 3D LUT, load it via the CFast cards, and then store that in the camera.
Correct. You'll have 6 LUTs on board.
So, there's been a few things going around the boards about some users having a magenta corner or problem to do with something like that. Would you like to speak on that?
We're investigating it. There's been some talk on the forums about it, but overall we're just sort of compiling the data now and figuring out what's there.
Sure, and to be truthful, all camera sensors have a shift towards one color or another. So it's being looked at.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's move to DaVinci. It seems like DaVinci is taking its vitamins and growing new muscles. Do you feel that the program is is shifting from just a color program, a color grading program, and it's getting new features with editing capabilities?
Yeah, we started that last year with a real shift to editing to basically be able to have an end-to-end solution. And 12.5, which was supposed to be sort of an interim upgrade, suddenly had a lot more. And it wasn't just in the editing side, it was also in the color grading side, it was in color management and media management, and also the interaction between Fusion and Resolve. So you can actually send a project over, send a clip over to Fusion, it'll open up Fusion in the node tree, so you can do a little, say, paint or something like that, and then send it back. So the round tripping between those products really gives you a lot of flexibility to do a whole project inside Resolve, and we also added some Resolve effects. So now we have bokeh highlights and we have lens flares and things like that are our effects that we have included in the software.
Okay, let's talk about Blackmagic Video SIS 4.K.
Oh yeah, the 4K Video SIS is a new product. It's a 7-inch touchscreen. It'll record up to UHD at 30 frames per second. It has both a full-size SDI in and out and HDMI in and out.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly. And it also has micro XLRs, so you can bring in microphones with phantom
Let's
power.
talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's a mini connector for mini XLR connectors, but they're both phantom powered, and the noise floor is minus 128 dB, so it's really quiet.
Okay, so if I wanted to use it though with my Ursa and I wanted to put the XLR into the camera, will it still export the audio over the SDI?
So
so if I put my mic
Yeah.
directly into the Ursa,
right.
and then over the SDI send to the recorder, that audio signal is still there.
That audio is embedded into.
So I don't have to use those mini XLRs if I don't want to.
That's what we designed that for. Is if you're using, say, a DSLR and you're taking HDMI out of the DSLR to record, and then you have a microphone that you want to plug directly into the recorder, you can do that. But yeah, the embedded audio still works the same.
Great, I understand. And so is this a new unit as far as like the guts of it, or is it a more powerful, slightly larger unit with the same basic guts?
No, it's got new guts because it does handle 4K. It's got 2 recorders in it. So it's.
What's the media for 4K?
They're the SD cards.
What class?
The highest. We have a list online, but it's it's the UHS 2 slot, so you need the really fast ones. But especially when you're doing 4K.
Right.
But the media will post online which media cards that are suitable. But also there are 2 slots in it, so you can actually do continuous recording if needed.
Okay, so what I use my Video Assist for is if I'm shooting 4K and I want a 1080 back. So I want to make sure that like if I don't need to go to the 4K, great. At the end of the day, I have my 1080, I have my ProRes HQ. If I need to push in, or if I want to realign, I have the 4K. So that's what I've been using mine for. What have you heard most people are using it for?
Well, I mean, what we're finding is that the original one, which has been out a little while, is being used on all sorts of things, not just our own cameras, but also using them for DSLRs. Even my daughter is in college and she's using some old camcorder that she doesn't like, and I said take the HDMI out into
right.
that. And she's like, oh wow, cool, and I can record. She's using DNX HD because of their editing in Avid, and she says it's so much better, and I have focus assist and things like that. So
It's fantastic. I know one of the reasons that I originally purchased it was to work with the C300 to bypass the internal cards and not have to do all the transcoding.
Sure.
But a lot of cameras, there's the Sony and the Canon, no matter what you're shooting internally, 2398, they're putting out 60i over the thing, and the Video SIS doesn't have the ability to read those flags. Is that something that will be with a future update?
I'm not sure if that's the capability of.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think that's more to do with what the camera is outputting. You know, we only.
It's definitely the camera. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So the only way you'd be able to do that is to run it through one of our boxes, you know, to change it. But I don't know that that's really a practical solution. Yeah, I'm not sure that we'd be able to do anything internally for sure on ours.
Okay, great. Well, I just want to congratulate you guys again. You know, a lot of our users look to me and they say, well, is this the perfect camera? And you know what? It's if it's perfect for you.
Right.
You know, if you want super high speed, get a Phantom. If you want super, super low light, get an A7S. But what you guys have made here is you've made an affordable camera that does 4K and RAW and ProRes internally. It's got proper XLRs in, it's got proper SDIs out, and we're talking about a sub $5,000 camera.
Right.
So thanks again for taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks very much.
Okay, and we'll see you next year.
Great.
Okay, thanks Bob.
Take care.